Hey, hi there, it's Chris here from Technify Networks. The purpose of this video is to show you how to configure a DHCP server for VLANs using Cisco IOS Router plus Inter-VLAN routing. So we're just gonna get into action quickly. Just gonna start my packet tracer, and I've got something here, a list of tasks that needs to be done because we're gonna be doing quite some configurations here. So in order to save us some back and forth, it would be good to have this on the screen here so that we know that those are the list of things that we need to do. So I'm just gonna grab 3 switches. Grab 3 switches from here. 2, 3. That should do. I'm gonna grab a router. I'm gonna grab the 1941 router. And then I'm gonna grab some clients. So I'm just gonna move them this way. Move the router this way. And this switch. Then I'm gonna be grabbing some clients. I'm gonna grab some PCs. 1, 2, 3. So I think that should be about that. So I'm just gonna connect all this together. I'm gonna grab cables for this. So for the switches, I'm gonna use crossover cables, but I think this has got auto MDIX, so it might not make much of a difference. So then I'm gonna connect this to the router, and then the clients. So we're gonna be doing quite a few configurations here. There's gonna be VLANs and Inter-VLAN routing, and then we'll now configure the DHCP server for all the PCs in several VLANs to be able to get IP addresses dynamically from the DHCP server. So what I'm gonna do is to quickly create VLANs on the switches. So I'm gonna be creating VLANs on 3 switches, but I'm gonna label this quickly. So let's say this PC is gonna belong to VLAN, let's say VLAN 10, and then the IP address for VLAN 10 will be 192.168.10.0/24. So let's say this belongs to VLAN 20. So the network for VLAN 20 will be, let's use 172 for this. .16.0.0, and that will be /16. So this, let's say this is VLAN 30, Then let's use the 10 network for this. 10.1.1.0, let's say /24. So what I'm gonna do, the rest of the PCs, okay, let's say VLAN 10. Let's say this is accounting, and let's say VLAN 20, so the engineering department. So let's say VLAN 30. Let's say this is for students. So what I'm gonna do is to just copy this. So we'll say this will be VLAN 10 also, accounting. And then we'll say this will be, okay, let's copy this as well. So we'll say let's say these are VLAN 20 as well, engineering. And then we've got the last but not the least, so this is VLAN 30 as well. So what we're gonna do is they have to be able to communicate with one another, and everyone has to be able to, you know, communicate with one another after the whole configuration is done. So I'm just gonna grab my notepad, and you know, just I'm gonna create the VLANs and then copy and paste it on each of the PCs. That will save us, on each of the switches. That will save us some time. So I'll start with enable. Conft, let's say VLAN 10. VLAN 10, we've got accountant, say name, accountant, exit. So VLAN 20. For VLAN 20, that's engineering. Yeah, that's engineering. So name, say engineering, exit, and VLAN 30. Name of VLAN 30, that's students. Exit. So we're gonna configure this on all the 3 switches, so this will save us time instead of typing it one by one on all of them. So yeah, I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna open all the switches and paste them here before we begin the major configurations. So I'm gonna paste it. So for verification, I'm just gonna show VLAN brief. Let me show VLAN brief. So yeah, they're all there. So switch 2 is done. Switch 0. I'm gonna paste that again. Show VLAN brief. Yeah, is there? That's good. So on to the last switch. CLI. So I'm gonna paste that and Ctrl Z. Show VLAN brief, just to make sure the VLAN we created has been created there, so we need to verify that. So that's all good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start assigning the ports to each VLANs. So on this switch, fast Ethernet 02 is for VLAN 10. So we're gonna go here and go back again, conf t interface fast Ethernet 02. So switch ports, mode, access, switch port access VLAN. So that'll be VLAN 10. So then we do exit. I think this is fast Ethernet here. Fast Ethernet 03. So interface fast Ethernet 03. Switch port mode. Access. Switch port access VLAN. And that's 20. So we exit. Interface fast Ethernet 04. Switch port mode. Access. Switch port access VLAN. That's VLAN 30. So that's about that. So wow, all there to do right to save the configuration. So we're gonna go to fast Ethernet 01 and just make that trunk once and for all, because all the links between the switches, they need to be trunk, and the link connecting the switch to the router as well has to be trunk once we create the VLANs. So VLANs has been created and port assignment has been done, so they have to be 802.1q links. So exit. So we're just gonna interface fast Ethernet 01, switch ports mode, trunk. So we're just gonna leave the native VLAN as 1, so that should be fine. And then we're just gonna verify the port assignments as well. Because I'm in global configuration mode, I'll say do show VLAN brief. So yeah, they've been assigned to those ports: engineering, as fast as Ethernet 02, then VLAN 20, fast Ethernet 03, and then VLAN 30, fast Ethernet 04. So that's good, and the trunk is done already. So I'm just gonna make this trunk as well, all the ports there. So I'm from fast Ethernet 01 to 3. So I'm gonna use the interface range command here. Yeah. So interface range fast Ethernet 01 to 3. Switch ports mode, trunk. So does that. Control Z, let's say right. Show interfaces trunk. Yeah, we can see it's trunk and the trunk is on. 802 encapsulation is 802.1q, and the native VLAN, we are using the default one, so that's fine. And I need to verify it here as well. Show interface is trunk. I'm actually abbreviating the show command. Yeah, so this is good. Yeah, so we'll just do the port assignments here and make the links between the two switches trunk as well here. So conf. So this interface is for VLAN 20, that's FO2. That's a VLAN 20. So, and this is switch 1, right? Yeah. So interface F02, switch ports mode, access, switch port access VLAN, and that's 20. And then we exit. You can see the links is turning to amber. Yeah. So then here we're gonna, is that F03? Yeah, and that's F03 for VLAN 30. Interface F03, switch ports mode access, switch ports access VLAN 30. So, and then the last but not the least, that's we exit here. So interface first it's on a 04, switch ports mode access, switch port access VLAN, that's VLAN 10. So then we need to, so we need to make that trunk as well, the first on it 01. So I'm just gonna say exit, but I think it will be trunking already because it's dynamic auto the state of the port, so it might be trunking already, but I'm gonna make statically configure it as trunk because it must have negotiated with the other trunk, with this trunk link. So let's say do show interface is trunk. Yeah, it's trunking already, but it's in dynamic because it's in auto, so automatically, but I'm just gonna make it trunk statically. So switch port mode trunk. So let's say do show interface is trunk. So now it's statically configured as trunk. It's on and the encapsulation is 802.1q. Yeah, so we are good here. I'm just gonna save the configuration. So what's next to do? Here, trunk configure links between switches and between switch and router as trunk. Yeah, that's done already. I'm just gonna verify. Yeah, so we should have 3 trunk links here. Okay, because the link is down, so it's not showing F03 because we need to bring up this link here on the router, the gigabits, it's Ethernet 00. So we say no, enable conf t interface gigabit 00, no shutdown. So now we're gonna verify this. It's supposed to come up as trunk here, so it's up now. So let's say, yeah, so it's there and is allowed on trunk, so everything is good here now. So I think our configuration now is to go to the And then we need to configure sub interfaces on the router and create gateways for each VLAN. So now we go back to the router and then we start creating gateways for the VLANs. So we're gonna use the sub interfaces for that. So this configuration is gonna be basically router on a stick. So we're gonna say interface gigabit 00.10. Let's use 10 for VLAN 10. So that sub interface is up. Then before we can assign an IP address, we need to say encapsulation.1q, and then this has to be 10. It's saying yeah, that traffic is for VLAN 10. So now we can now assign the gateway IP address. So for VLAN 10 is going to be 192.168.10. We're using the first IP for as the gateway, 255.255.255.0. So that's fine. I'm gonna exit that sub interface. Then I'll go to the sub interface for VLAN 20. So let's say interface gigabit 00.20. So let's say encapsulation.1q20, and then IP address. So we're using 172.16.0. We're gonna use the first IP in the range for that, and 255.255.0.0. that's a /16 subnet. So then I'm gonna exit that, and then I go to the same. Yeah, I go create a gateway for VLAN 30. So I'm gonna do this. The phase gigabit 0/0.30 encapsulation .1q30 and IP address. So that's 10.1.1.1. We're gonna use the first IP in the range 255.255.255.0. So we are good here. So what I'm gonna do quickly is to test if at least one of those PCs can reach the gateway. So I'm gonna save this configuration. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna quickly assign, a static IP here, just to test if it can reach its gateway, because by now it should be able to reach its gateway. Without being able to reach the gateway, it's not going to get an IP address if we configure the DHCP server. So 192.168.10. let's give it 5. So yeah, and the default gateway is .1. I'm gonna copy these and then change the last digits there. So yeah, that should be good. So let's ping the gateway and see. Ping 192.168.10.1. Yeah, so that's fantastic. So that's fine now. That means the router on a stick is working well, so it can reach its gateway. So that's fine. So I'm just gonna remove the IP address. I'm gonna go DHCP and remove that, so we cannot get a DHCP address because we've not configured the server yet. So I'm gonna close that. Then now is when we need to, that is done. Then we need to configure pool for each of the VLANs. So yep. So now what I'm gonna do for each of them, I'm just gonna exclude the first 10 addresses. So yeah, so I'm gonna say IP DHCP excluded address. Let's say I'm gonna, for VLAN 10, let's say 192.168.10 Yeah, I don't want it to give at least from that to 192.168.10.10. So it's gonna start assigning IP addresses from 11 for that range. So I can exclude for other VLANs as well. Excluded address, let's say 172.1.16.0.1 to 172.16.0.10. We don't want it to give any IP addresses from those range, so it's going to start from .11. So then we exclude for the third VLAN, VLAN 30. Say 10.1.1 from 10.1.1 to 10.1.1.10. So we are good. So we're gonna create a pool for VLAN 10. We're gonna start with VLAN 10, do the configuration. So that's IP DHCP pool, and then the pool name, we're just gonna name it VLAN 10. Well, VLAN 10 pool. So the default router, the IP address is 192.168.10.1. So let's say then the network is 192.168.10.0 network. And then the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. So we got that, and let's say DNS server. Let's say we want to use the Google DNS 8888. Yeah. And then let's say domain name. If we want it to have a domain name, let's say Technify. Or let's say www. The Technify network .be as a Belgian domain. So I think we're done with that. Yeah, so we're just gonna exit that, and then we move on to the next one. So if I test that now, we should be able to get an IP address from with this PC from DHCP. Yeah, you can see, and it's starting from 11. So I'm just gonna leave that and then do the rest. That's just to test, and all the parameters that we said, the DNS server is there. And if we go here, we're gonna see, if we go to the command prompts, we're gonna see every other thing like the domain name. Let's say IP config /all. So yeah, we can see the domain name here, technifynetworks.be, and then the IP address that was assigned, our default gateway and our DNS server. So we are good. So we're just gonna complete the rest. So for the other one, is gonna be IP DHCP pool. Then the pool name is gonna be VLAN, just to keep it simple, VLAN 20 pool. So let's say the default router, that's our default gateway, that's the IP address 172.16.0.1, and then the network is 172.16.0.0.255.255.0.0. So, and then let's say DNS server, we're gonna use the 888 as well. And then let's say domain name. Let's say Technify. Networks.co.uk. So yeah, I think that's done. That's about that for that. So yeah, so we're just gonna move on to the next one, to the last but not the least, and that will be IP DHCP pool. Let's say VLAN 30. Pool. Then the default router, the IP address is 10.1.1.1. Yeah. And then the network is 10.1.1.0 255.255.255.0. And then DNS server, let's say, yeah, let's say it's going to use 10.10.10.5 as the DNS server. So, and then, yeah, let's say domain name, let's say Technify networks.com or .ca. Let's give it a Canadian domain. So I think we're done here. So I'm just gonna do right. So if we do this quickly and say, okay, we're just gonna check all the clients first to make sure they all have IP addresses from the DHCP server. Yeah, the DHCP request successful, and it started from 11, and we've got a /16 network, and that's the default gateway. That's all the parameters that we configured, so that's good. So, and all these PCs now, they should be able to ping one another. Each VLAN should be able to ping another VLAN, so we're gonna test that out as well, because we've configured Inter-VLAN routing. So this has got from 11, yeah, and then that's the DNS server that we configured on this, so that's fine. So let's check what this has got. Okay, that has got .12, so that makes it good, yeah. So, and the students here, so yeah, successful. Successful as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna ping this from any, yeah, that's 172.0.12 from any of these PCs. Ping 172.16.0.12. Oh, that was a typo. It's supposed to be 172. So that'll be an app packet, and then yeah, so that's great. There's Inter-VLAN routing and everything is working as expected. So if you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Yeah, bye.